We have our engine almost complete. We've still got the exhaust to do, so it's starting to look like a real scale model now. Hello, this is BJ from Hearns Hobbies, and welcome to part 7 of the Grand Prix 3D build. So this is the 3D printed production kit that's been designed by Andy Cooke, and he's sold through his web store, which is at Grand Prix 3D. You'll be able to find that in the link down below as well in the description of this video. Now this is where we're at so far. It's actually starting to look like a car. Looks really good. Whole front suspension is complete. You see how we've got the these are the disc brakes, ventilated discs, bearings are fitted. We have the dashboard mounted, and all the steering is in place with the servo as well. So last episode we started working on the engine. So this is where we're at with the engine. We've got the brushless motors already mounted, pinions fitted, and we're starting to fit it onto the engine mount and all these larger bulkheads. Okay, so over here we're just into, let's see, this step 10 of the engine bay. Actually, I think we're closer to here. Yes, step 11 actually. So this is where these very long screws are going to be mounted inside to hold it all together. Now I just have to be really careful here because I think it's quite important to have this all in proper alignment. And I'll just make sure that I get this all right. Okay, so the long screws we need to put into the rear bulkhead. And then the other hand, we're going to push the motor plate towards those, yep. Okay, so we're just going to make sure that as we're screwing it all together, it's going to pull everything tight and nothing becomes warped. Alright, and so we're just going to tighten them up left and right to pull them up at the same level. And then we'll start tightening up the lower end as well. Okay, so lower end, I think I've already tightened fully. So let me just back those off a bit. Okay. Alright, so let's do that. Let's mount these through here. Alright, I'm going to start tightening this up by pressing across here. I'm going to alternate between these. My driver's getting a bit loose here. Let me just tighten that up first. Okay, so we're just going to continue doing this until we pull each side slowly by alternating each tightening run. Paying attention that these don't warp. And they're still looking okay. This side could probably screw in a bit longer. Right, so as we're looking now, so these have been pulled up tighter. I'm just going to spend a bit more care in tightening these up from now. But they feel like they're pulled up fairly flat and even. Okay, that feels pretty good. Okay, so we don't have much of a gap there anymore. And that's all looking fairly true. So that's what we want. Okay, so now we're going to do up these lower screws, which were insert in an earlier stage. And we'll keep alternating these ones as well because we want to pull these up true as well. Okay, so what are we looking for now? So looking at the manual here, it's telling us to look out for these particular gaps. All right, so don't over tighten any of them. Okay, so we want it to the point where there's absolutely no gaps. Okay, so looking at this diagram here, looking at all these points, no gaps. Okay, so we're done. Good job there. All right, so that step's done. All right, so where are we up to now? So step 12, we're going to do the engine bay panels. So these are the panels I have already over here. We have screws, so let's open up our screw bag. All right, so we've got our engine backing plate, which is this one with the channel. We've got the detail plate, that's the right one, and detail plate left. And then we've got some screws, so there's going to be 2x8 countersunks. 2x8 countersunks. Oops, let me just... turn that off. All right. So there's one. Normal. And then 1.6 by 5s. Okay, so they're going to be these little tiny ones. There's 4 of those. So we've got our screws all here. No, actually I need one more, which is this one. Okay, so let's move on to here. All right, so we're going to get these wires and we're going to get them to guide along here in this channel. Let's see the best way, maybe these. Okay, then this backing plate is going to go on here and hold it all in place. Alright, so I just want to make sure that get the wires in place so they don't get crushed. Okay, now these wires are fairly short compared to the ones that are shown in the manual. Let's see if we can get these to fold around here. So it does say this is going to be a bit tricky. Well, let's see how we go with that. Okay. Let's get the right size driver here. Okay, so I've got that one in place. That's holding them down for the moment. Get the other side in. And then we'll adjust those wires before we tighten it all up. Okay, let me just tighten that up. Okay. Alright, so it's jammed pretty hard. Just going to try and readjust this here. Alright, so it's sitting a bit flatter. Still is a little bit of a gap there. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. We'll see as we continue on. If it's not too good, then we'll redo that at a later stage. Okay, so we're going to screw on these detail parts now to the sides of the engine. Okay, let's have a look here. Right, so this one goes here. Oops. Right, so let me just make sure these holes are big enough to accept these screws. Yep, that's all right. Just having trouble lining these up. I might just adjust these a little bit with some sanding paper. I think, or maybe, do I need to? Let's see, let me try again. Actually, that works out okay, I think. Okay, looks good. All right, let's move on to this side. Okay, just got to tighten this side up. So there's a little bit of a gap there. And as I tighten it up, it's just going to pull it all tight. All right, that's done there. Okay, so we've got a nice little engine sub-assembly there. Okay, complete. Yay! Alright, so that means we go on to the next step. So next step, let's see, what's that? That's going to be the engine details. Okay, so that's section 6. That's not it there. That's this one here. Alright, well, that looks pretty spectacular, doesn't it? It's got all the exhaust pipes and such on it. Alright, so we have our bag of engine details here. Let's pop those right here. A lot of components in this particular bag. Alright, what we're going to need the rocker covers. Alright, so there's rocker covers. The rocker covers are really nice. And then we've got this distributor hub. Distributor hub, must be this one. Alright, there's distributor hub. Spark plug leads here and here. And we've got our, this one, they're the leads. So there should be 2 long ones and 2 short ones. So look here. Let's get that straightened out a little bit. They're the same. They're the same. Alright, okay, so they're the long ones I've got on the top there, short ones on the bottom. Alright, so we're going to drill out the spark plug leads with a 1.5mm bit. Okay, so that's that one there. Swap this over. Actually, does it fit in the same one here? Oh, I think I went a bit hard on that one. Alright, so let me just get a set of pliers here. Alright, I'm just going to be gluing this one back on, but maybe I should be drilling from this other side. Okay. Okay, so when you're drilling these down, just be really careful because there is quite a bit of material to remove and the walls are very, very thin. Let's move those here. Okay. Just going to hold this part so I can drill it out. Okay, so that one's done. All right, so I'm going to do it this method again. We're just going to press these down and drill through the top down. Okay, I'm just going to hold it up here so I can drill it all the way through. So it's got a fair bit to go. Alright, so they're drilled through. Right there. Got the one that broke off a little bit. That doesn't matter. We'll glue that back on. Easy done. Just make sure this is drilled all the way through. Yes. Okay. Alright, so we need to pay attention to the order of how we're feeding these spark plug wires through. So let's see. Take the... We need to get the long ones. So they're the long ones here. Pretty sure. Let's just double check that again. Yep. And then we'll poke this through this end. So we need to pull that through to about 75mm long. And then we'll poke the other side through. Okay, so I think I'll get a little ruler to help me measure that. Okay. Got my ruler here. So let's make that 75mm. That's about there. Which means if I tension this, I'll pull at the other end. It should be like so. Alright, so we've got one end which is longer than the other side. Okay, so 75. Yep, looks about right. Alright, so we're going to pull these and tension it up. Alright, so now we get the shorter one, and we're going to be poking it through number 3 and number 4 hole. Okay, so we pull it through to about 60mm. Alright, so poke this through here. We just measure that to 60mm to the top of that. Okay. Fold that and we'll poke this through number 4 hole. Okay, so there we go. So we've got, progressively, you've got the wires and you've got the longest one on this side and it'll just progressively get shorter. And so that's what we've got to do with the other one as well. Okay, so let's get this long one, poke through here. Alright, so that's 75mm. Do the 75mm to there. Put it through the second hole. And then, let's see. I'm going to have to drill out. No, it's okay. Pull this through and tension it. And now we've got the short one. And we'll put it through number 3. And that's going to go 60mm, was it? Yes. So 60mm. And then pop that through here. Okay. And put that through number 4. Alright, there we go. So progressively getting shorter to the end. Alright, so we've got those 2 sets done. Now this little broken bit, let's just poke that through here. And we'll put a bit of CA glue on that later and that'll look as good as new. Okay, All right, so we move on to the next part, and that's getting the spark plug leads into the crankcase covers. Okay, so let's just double check the lengths here. So this one needs to be about 75 mil, which is about right. Next one's about 65 mil. That's about right. Next one is 60 mil, which is about right. And the last one is 50 mil, and that's correct. All right, let's just double check with this one. 75, yes. 65, it's close enough. 60, yep, and then 50. Okay, all right, so they're good. All right, now with these, we just have to make sure we have this in the correct direction. All right, so the longest one is going to poke through this end. So let's just do that here. So make sure we get them all in the right order. Okay, there you go. It pokes through. It's easy. All right, let's do that again over here. So we've got the long. Okay, there we go. Got both of those poked through. Now what am I doing? I've just noticed that I'm doing black on black, which is going to be hard for you to see, so let's get a bit of white paper there. It's probably going to help. There we go. All right, so let's move on to the next step. All right, so we've got our distributor. Okay, so there's a little distributor there. It's got a little holes in it, which are going to accept all these spark plug leads. And we're just going to make sure that we drill them all out, so they're going to take all these leads inside. Now let's just read through here. There's quite a few things to take account of. Okay. Right, so the longest one goes into uppermost number one. Okay, that makes sense. All right, so let's just drill these out first. All right. Now again, we're going to take a lot of care to drill these. Alright, so let's just wipe some of this swarf away over this side. Alright, so I'm just going to go through each hole again to make sure it's gone all the way through. Right, almost there, just a couple more holes left. Oh, just missed a hole across the top here. Okay. Okay. All right, get rid of this swarf. All right, so we're just going to pay attention to how all this is going to go together. So let's make sure we have all these facing the right way. All right, so the longest ones are on the outside, and that's going to go through this, where is it? It's a flat section, so top here. All right, so we'll bend it a little bit so it doesn't pop out. All right, and then this one. Alright, so that's a bit tight there. Let's just drill that out again. Okay, so since we've got these two in here, we progressively get the next wire and poke it into the next lower hole. Alright, so that goes in there. So once you initially get them all lined up, it's all pretty straightforward after that. And this one goes into there. Push this in a bit more. Okay, so we've got one side, let's do the next one. Okay, and then we've got our last one. Just poke through here. Okay, so here we go. I've got them all connected up to the distributor cap now. Okay, so they're all pressed in. So we're just going to press these in towards the cone here. Towards the cone? Why towards the cone? Have we got these the wrong way around? Inserted without the cone. Okay, that's great. Put those in the wrong way around. Okay, let's pull those out and do that again. Okay, so again, starting with, let's see, that's this way, isn't it? So longest one. So let's drill these out from the side. So I'm drilling at them again because the swarf that's hanging on the inside of this part is sort of blocking the wires now. So just open that up. Okay. Alright, so I've got that one in there, second longest. I'm just going to open these up a little bit with a knife, because I think after I've put them in once, the ends of the wires are stretched a bit, so they don't really want to fit through these holes anymore. Alright, let's try that again. Alright, much easier. Alright, so poke that through here. Alright, so they're all in. Alright, so I push those through to about 10 mil. Alright, and we'll bend them so they don't pop out, and we'll do the other side. Alright, so again, we'll get the longest side. Poke that in. Okay, then the next one. Third one. And now the fourth one, which is the last one. A bit stubborn, this one. Okay, let's open this up a little bit. Alright, that's in. Okay, yay. Alright, so let's bend these a bit. Alright, so we want about 4 mil protruding through the back of this. Okay, I think that looks about right. Alright, so we're going to bend them towards there. Alright, and there we go. They're complete. So a little bit fiddly, but spend a bit of time on it. Make sure those holes are cleaned up well. And we should be okay. Alright, let's move on to the next step. Alright, so ignition assembly. Alright, so we need this part here. What else do we need? We need Distributor Hub body in black. in grey, and 2x20 and a 2x10. Right, so there must be these screws here. Alright, so these are the cap head ones. 20, I'm guessing that's a 20. Let's have a look. Alright, so that's a 20. And that's a 12. What's this one? Alright, and that's a 10. Okay. Alright, so we need to get this hub, the grey one, with cone shape indent. Okay, that's this one here. Oh, and so this is how it all stays together. Alright, I'm getting it now. Alright, so we need the long screw and that's going to hold it all together. Okay. So let's go through the centre here. Probably would have been good if I drilled that out before. Let's see if I can still do that. Alright, so just going to open up this hole here so the screw can go through smoothly. Alright, so that's through. I'm just going to poke through here. This is how all the wires are going to get clamped together. Okay, and we'll screw it up. Oh, that's too big. Alright, 1.5 mil. Okay, so that's going to screw into here. Okay, so I'm going to do this up reasonably tight. Okay, so they're holding it all nice and tight now. Now this should be facing down. Yeah, let's just spin that around. Here we go, tighten it up. Alright, so here we go, we've got the little spider looking distributor with all the leads hanging off it. Okay, and now we're going to do the black body part of it. And that'll be through here. Right, so I'm going to drill this out again. Let the screw go through it smoothly. Okay. Okay, there we go. Got that sub-assembly all done. Okay, and now the trumpets. Alright, so let's get all the trumpets over here. Okay, being a V8, there's going to be 8 trumpets. There you go, and we've got these parts here. And then the tiny countersunk screws. Actually, they're not that. Oh, yeah. 4mm ones? Oh, these are the little black ones. Okay, yep, they are pretty tiny. So I need 8 of those. Yep, that's the wrong one. Okay, there we go. And from there, we'll just screw all these together, I guess. Yep. All right, so let's just make sure these are all drilled out first. Okay, so the countersunk just goes through the bottom, and we're just going to screw these trumpets in. And trumpets have got these flat sides on the end, so they're going to lock into place. So let's just taper this hole so it's a bit easier for the screw to bite. Do all these. This just tapers the end, so it's a little bit bigger and the first thread can bite easier. After that, it's still got the same diameter hole, so it's still going to have the same pressure once it's all tightened up. Alright, so let's get that slotted in here. Okay, and just screw it up. So I think these screws are a bit bigger than these holes. Let's see if I put some pressure on this way, it might be easier to start the thread going. No, actually, because I've got the wrong size driver there, that's not going to help. Now this will help, there we go. There we go, that's in. Alright, so I'm just going to pressure fit all these on first before I screw them up. Okay. See if this makes it easier. Alright, by pressing down this way, I've kept all the trumpets flat. Helps it all go together a bit easier, I think. Okay, there you go, one set of trumpets. Let's do this one. Oh. Should be a bit more careful here. Let me screw these in first. Okay, should make it a little bit easier to put these two in place. There's a little bit of force to get them to fit into the little spots. Oop. Okay, there we go. 2 sets of trumpets there. And now we move on to the trumpet base supports. Okay, so there's these angled parts. Little holes in them. Alright, so I need 2x4s and 2x12 screws. Are they the right ones? 2x5s. What are these? These are 2x4s. Okay, little tiny ones there. Right, so I need 8 of those. Alright, so we've got those, and then we need the 2x12s. Okay. And there's 6 of those. Okay, so we've got all those parts ready. Let's see. So the supports for the left and the right are different. Okay. All right, so we're going to make sure that the holes are going to line up. Okay, so if we've got this here, let's see. Okay, so it's meant to be a base. So I guess that's meant to be there. And this one is meant to be here. Maybe? Okay, so let's press these in. Oop. This one has a very tight fit. All right, press that in. Right, so I've got those pressed in. There still needs to be a gap between them and the motor. That'll be for heat dissipation, I'd assume. Okay, so we've got both sides in place, and now we're going to put the rocker cover assembly. So left and right sides. So left and right side. Alright, so this must be this way around, like this. Okay, and these are screwed on with 2 of these little screws on the bottom. Alright, so I just leave them on loose for the moment just to help me put this all together. Okay, so I'll do this side as well. We'll do the lower part. Alright, so these 2 screws are just to hold everything in place until everything looks like it's lined up perfectly. And then we're going to do the top screws. Alright, let's pop in these top screws. Oh, I think they're meant to be longer ones, aren't they? Oh, they are meant to be longer ones. Alright. See if I can get this screw out now. So I'll flick this out. There we go. All right. Now let's put in the correct size screw, which will be the longer one. Into the trumpet base support, yes, okay, yep. Okay, that one's in. All right, it's gone in fairly nicely. I'm just going to tighten up these bottom holes a little bit now. Okay, now let's do the other side. Alright, just nipping up the top there. Okay, and just tightening up the bottom. Okay, there we go. Getting pretty close now. All right, so we're going to check that they're all good. Yep, both the trumpet base support are securely attached. That's good. Okay, so now we're going to do the trumpets and have them installed. So we're going to make sure that they're aligned properly because there's one particular direction that they're going. So we're just looking for this chamfered part. Okay. The angled side is facing outwards and closest to the top edge of the rocker cover. Okay. So outwards. All right, so that's outwards. So we're going to attach the trumpets with the 2x12 using the center hole. Okay, so that's this one here. Let me just make sure all these holes are. So I'll drill these out. All right, let's do this one too. All right, so this long screw needs to go through the center. With the chamfer section going outwards, and then this is going to hold it all together. Okay, so it needs to go through here. Just going to make sure that lines up with the hole correctly. I think I've got it. It's going in, okay. All right, looking good. All right, let's do the same with this one. Okay, chamfer side outwards, yep. All right, so that's sort of in place. Now they're still loose at the moment. Got them loose so that we can do the final alignment. Okay, and then that's finished off with these shorter screws. All right, so that's going to attach the trumpets onto the rocker cover. All right, we'll do the other side as well. All right, then I'm going to finally screw up these center screws, and that's going to lock these all into place. All right, so that's on. And that one there. All right, there we go. We have our engine almost complete. We've still got the exhaust to do, but we've got the trumpets in. So it's starting to look like a real scale model now. These spark plug leads really add quite a lot of character. So it's looking good. All right. So I think we'll call it a session right there. So thank you for joining me once again to the Grand Prix 3D build, and I've got the engine. It's almost there. So next we've still got the exhaust pipes to do. So we'll continue that with the next build. So thanks for joining me again, and I look forward to you joining me for the next one. Thank you.